All right. We are streaming. Thank you for watching the VOD. The playtest just wrapped up, and I figured since Jasmine's doing something this evening and the playtest just wrapped up, I would maybe stream for a couple minutes. I just finished one of the tasks on my task list. So since I finished my task, I figured I would stream for a few minutes maybe and see how everybody's feeling after Christmas, after the playtest, and before the new year. So yeah. Hoop. Zukin. The wonderful Zukin. Riguru, Gunnervolf, Pack Attack 74, Redarana. Hello there. Badamoo. First time chatter. Hello. Beat Mighty 82. Why must it end? I'm sorry. You guys realize that we're going to go into early access way sooner than you realize, and then in theory hopefully it never ends, but we need to get a lot of shit done and save up our energy. Justin Beard, my dear friend Justin Beard, I hope you are staying super warm up there in Stephen King land, surviving the snow. Baron 65, Captain Hook. Your favorite streamer streaming your favorite content. Son, you need to get out more. There's so many good. You're just being kind, but I appreciate. Nimdork. Hello. Riddlebark. How's the music level? Is it loud? It's loud in my ear, so I may just turn it down for me. It doesn't look like it's that loud for you guys, though. Maybe I'll turn it up for you and I'll turn it down for me. Sadix187. My favorite 90s rapper said for the first time in chat, later than previously. Louder than previously. Okay. I was like, your sentence doesn't help me. Oh, am I louder? It's because I'm leaning all the way over. Completely poor posture. I've got the mic right in front of my grill. Hey, Viro. Hey, Use Shoes. B Mighty 82 said FRTY for THE opportunity to have played at all. We are glad that you were able to get in and play. No cap. Skibbity-doo bop. I just looked over to Discord and somebody posted a picture of a dude with glasses and a bit of a beard and a microphone in front of his face. And I was like, holy shit, is that me? And then I saw all of his wonderful hair and I was like, that's clearly not me. That man has hair. What's up, Gulo Gulo? Getting the new setup to good use. House Pants, I'm just getting back to town. We were gone for 5 days. So I got good use out of this setup using Parsec. I was on this tiny ass little, when I left the last company I was at, I took my little work laptop. You know what I'm talking about, like the little IBM ThinkPad, like super tiny laptops. So I was able to leave with that and my phone, which was like a, I don't know, it was like a Galaxy 12 or something. I got both of them for €300. It was a steal. Such a bargain. And I now have a new phone, but I still use that little laptop. And so when I'm at the in-laws' house, Swanee taught me the wonders of Parsec. And so this tiny ass little thing that sounds like it's about to fly out, you know, just fly off, the fan's going so hard. Anytime you try to do anything on it, if I just like log into my machine here with Parsec, it doesn't even bother the laptop. It's so neat. I'm old, so I'm astounded by the technology, the streaming. And that was how I was able to like get the beta update out and get the newsletter out and do some other shit. So your laptop sounds like a jet engine about to take off. Yeah, my little guy, he just sounds like he's gonna explode. But not when I'm running Parsec. It's actually really kind of chill. Today's sponsor is Parsec. M. Clark 37. I like 37. 37 was my lucky number for the longest time. It had something to do with clerks, I think. Anyways, M. Clark 37 said, "Howdy, Eminem is scratching all the itches I didn't realize I had. Thanks for the holiday playtest." Hey, you're very welcome. When you say you didn't realize you had those itches, have you not played a similar game before? Are you new to this kind of vibe? Or did you've done it before, but you didn't realize you had itchy spots? Tell us all about it. Does the boat take you anywhere with finished S content? I'm still chewing on Night Harbor and adjacent zones. It does, actually. It will take you through Shallow Shoals, which is a glorious, glorious place. Since I'm done with my homework here, whoop, I should probably save these changes. Weird. Hopefully all that's saved. We can hop over to Shallow Shoals and you can maybe see what you're missing. M. Clark said, played MMOs in the past, UO, EQ, WoW. But I have not played in years and not realized how much I miss this kind of game. I should probably, you know what, okay, that makes sense then. Then cool. I like that. That's basically saying, hey, I've enjoyed these in the past, but I didn't realize just how much, which I think that's still an awesome compliment. Hey, Swanee, I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? Project. Oh, have I grabbed latest lately? I haven't. Let me see if I can do that. Going back up. Playtest was really amazing. Felt like a younger version of myself again. That's what we're shooting for. We're like the movie Cocoon. And I'm Wilford Brimley. And if you know the reference, then you're old enough to play our game. If you don't know the reference, you may be too young to play our game. And by young, I mean weak of will. Incapable of withstanding the scarediness and tedium. Hey, Pinwills, thank you for the follow. And Big Matt 5000 52 minutes ago. Yeah, there was definitely some boat breakage. Oops, shit, did I click this prematurely? Okay, I didn't. Whew, I always get scared that I'm gonna mess something up. Hey, Chat Solo, Teriel. Catalone, if that is your real name. Nice of you to do a stress test during the holidays. Can't wait for EA. Hey, honestly, it was mostly GM Trent GM Tam, Ollie and Nick and all the people pulling petitions. I barely exerted any effort during this playtest. It was very nice of the team to do it. So B Mighty 82, I will try to get in and I'll show you one of the zones you missed by not taking the boat. In the adventure, probably being dropped somewhere. No, I think the boats were actually kind of reliable. Except Night Harbor was a little sketchy when it was jam-packed. Excuse me. Hey, Decent Milk, sup baby, Tyron. Chasolo, I might have already said that, but hello again. Did you do any gnome chucking on your 5-day vacation? No, I mostly chucked a gnome at home. It'd be awkward doing it at somebody else's house. Swanee said, sitting here playing Nintendo Switch with my 6-year-old while the 2-year-old naps. Living the dream, dude. Check said, Merry belated Christmas, Sean. Hope Krampus kidnapped all the people he didn't like. It was a good Christmas. I had a good time. And it's always nice visiting the family. Baffs says, first time chatter. Hey, Sean. First time playing the game. This playtest, enjoyed it a lot. This is a piece of art. Love the balance, the ambiance, and the concept of the game. Never played EQ. Badass. Well, we're very happy to have you. And I'm super cool that you liked it. Did you just never have a chance to play like EQ and stuff earlier? Are you a bit younger? Thanks, Grey Bomb. Class and cool. Merry Christmas to you as well. Happy New Year to all of you guys, because I probably won't see you before then, right? New Year is what? It's Wednesday? Yeah, I don't know. I probably won't stream Wednesday. I mean, you guys probably aren't going to be interested in the stream. Let me scroll back up and see if I missed anything. We got Sigmon 711. The anxiety of crawling around deep in a dungeon that requires cooperation among strangers to survive, or corpse run is something I was familiar with. Trying to solo lower Guk with a cleric, but the loss of your spells and your corpse is incredibly punishing. Ha ha ha. I'm glad you at least get a chuckle out of it. It is, yeah, I mean, it is what it is for sure. I think people might have mentioned, you know, ideas that we've had for a while that we might get in for EA, like being able to retain one spell as a cantrip or whatever, some stuff like that. Maybe it makes it slightly less super sketchy, but at the end of the day, I think most of you got your corpses back, right? Paladin Guy 85 says the game really gives me a genuine sense of adventure. No other MMO comes close anymore. What a great formula you guys have here. Hey, thank you. It's a formula that's it can be counterintuitive, right? Like it's a formula that people are like, oh wait, development server is probably up though. Like you got to do X, Y, and Z that's different than what you're doing, and we're very worried about messing with our formula. We want to be classic Coke, not new Coke. Try to ranger this play test. Amazing QL change with weapons auto switching depending on enemy distance, Etra said. It's kind of cool too when they run off and you like swap out without doing anything. You pluck them, like plink them in the back of the head. What's up, Hashpipe? What's going on, buddy? Hey, Squats. Clark says you need friends and community in this game. Actions have consequences, and you can't just go Rambo everywhere you want without thought. It's awesome. Hey, it's cool that it is cool to see people enjoying the formula, the formulation. Captain Hook said, played every playtest so far. My biggest takeaway from these tests and a lot of feedback I see is the initial leveling grind is a bit too long. Perhaps lowering the XP from 1 to 10, scaling it up from there. I mean, we'll keep looking at it. Kind of torn on that one. It was neat. It was neat watching. I think it was like Kungan, the king, was playing and just talking about like how much stuff he was already doing. And it was only level 5. I think the analogy he used was like, hey, typically you're out killing wolves at this level, not exploring dungeons and stuff. So I'm less worried about the actual amount of time that it takes in a level range and more the, are you doing fun things? Because in theory, the whole thing could just be 10 times longer if there was like 10 times as much cool shit to do and it didn't feel like it was just a grind, right? So a lot of that comes down to like the pacing of activities or rewards or stuff that you get to see or all of that. And I know that when you say, hey, I feel like maybe it's taking too long, you're factoring in those things as they currently stand. So, I mean, we'll keep messing with it. We'll keep messing with it. That said, I think we've been pretty happy lately with things at the lower levels. So I don't want to like always just throw out like this kind of bullshit like, oh yeah, well, we'll keep fixing it, right? Because there's some stuff like that where we're like, hey, we like to feel here, so politely disagree or whatever. But it's always nice to get the feedback and see, like, maybe it felt that way for you because of certain somethings, and then we'll have to check that out. So anyways, I've got the new computer. The new computer is doing, dude, it feels fantastic, but it's funny when I'm in editor, like I am now. Editors, like running it in the editor, as you can see, it's in editor. It's not our client. It's just brutal. It doesn't help. I've got a bunch of other shit running and I'm streaming and stuff. It is different. So like here, it's like in the way that the editor, I think doesn't occlude. Nah, I don't know. I think it's like rendering everything. Plus there's a lot of editor overhead or whatever. So if anybody's watching this and they're doing the thing that you guys tend to do on the streams about like, look at his frame rate. I guess I'm done doing work for the night. I could kill the editor and just hop into client. Client runs phenomenal. But the editor is like, got a bunch of other stuff loaded. Don't know what it is. Gnome websites, probably. I'm not telling. Let me scroll up. Does Chad Solo work with the team? His maps are so beautiful. I would pay money for an actual published strat guide for the nostalgia. 100% serious. I will say nothing. I can officially say that Chad Solo does not officially work on the team, but we are very aware of his wonderful maps and have ideas. Sometimes the client runs so smooth it feels like magic. Yeah. Decan949, hey, thank you for that. Decan, Jazaz, Mossberg, nice spelling, Gilberto, Pinwheels, all of you guys, thank you for the follows. Neck and TV, thanks. Yeah, Chad Solo's maps I get excited every time somebody shows them on their streams or whatever. It's just very excited for them. They're very beautiful. Essential X34 says, hey buddy, hope your Christmas was well. You guys are crushing it. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you very much. Merry Christmas. All right, so if you took the ship, you would come through this zone. It's a very big zone. It's got a couple stops. I'm compiling shaders down there. That's part of what's going on. HNED. So you come through this beautiful zone, and it takes you up this coast. It takes you up the west coast. Yep, there are 2 ships now. Hey Sean, any chance of a desert mad woman to hang out with the madmen, bumping into each other and having arguments how to stack? That'd be interesting. How do you know the desert madman's not out in the desert just to try to get away from the desert mad woman? Maybe she's a Night Harbor mad woman, and he's just like, I'm taking my ass to the desert. I'm going out with the boys. I need some alone time. A desert alone time, man. Yeah, so like if you're taking the ship, you're coming up the west coast. If you look there, way in the distance, that is, you can't see that it's green because there's still some light going on, but that is Fallen Watch. And then you can see that floating citadel in the distance, right, as you're going through Vale. Then you continue. We're facing east at the moment. And then you go up the left coast here. So you wrap around Fallen Pass. You come through Shallow Shoals. Make a couple pit stops. Thank you, Ollie, for the new pit stops. And then you work your way up towards Keeper's Bite. You can see Keeper's Bite in the distance. You can see the Abbey there. And then you keep going, and you go into the forest, the beautiful forest. Cab Zorro says, hey Sean, great playtest, love the game, can't wait to for the next chance to play. Awesome, welcome. Also, Travesty, welcome. Mossberg. I can't get over the spelling of your name. I'll have to tell my wife when she gets home. She's the range officer tonight, so she's on duty. So she's not around. So I figured I would kick off the stream. But she's a huge fan of shotguns. It's her favorite thing. They must pump. They can't be semi-auto. So Mossberg, your name tickles me. Mossberg said, this is my first time playing Monsters and Memories, and I instantly fell in love. Only got to play 3 to 4 hours, so I hope to scratch the itch again. You guys are creating something really special. Absolutely respect the vision and dedication. Thank you very much for your kind message. It's very cool. I think I say this sometimes, I don't feel like I give some of those messages the response they deserve here, because I'm always a bit frazzled when I'm streaming. I'm trying to read all the stuff and respond to things, and sometimes I'm even like working and stuff, but not really ever. And so I might seem like I gloss over it, but it means a ton to us. The fact that you guys are into it, and there's a bunch of you now and stuff, is a pretty big deal to us. It may not seem like it, but It really is. You know, I don't know what you guys think goes through the minds of like people who make games. But it is, you know, it is a weird thing for us to like sit down one day and go, hey, we should make a game. And then years later, especially, you know, because for a couple years there wasn't, you know, it was pretty tiny. It was a chill little situation. And then, ooh, it's so dark on my new monitor. Then now to have like a bunch of people playing it, and you know, people streaming it and all that stuff, it's pretty wild. So, and I really, honestly, I hope the team's really appreciating it and like enjoying the experience so far. Like I've worked on games before, and so I'm a little more familiar with some of the vibe, but I absolutely appreciate it. But hopefully the team's enjoying it as well. Consider Moonlight. Desert Night was oppressive as a human. You know, we keep kind of like tweaking the lighting. The hope is that it feels dark. It feels appropriately dark. That light sources do feel like they provide you some value. But yeah, I mean, we don't want it to just be like you're looking into pitch black all the time. So we'll continue to tweak. The problem we have is like each monitor's a bit different. We got different like hardware that we're dealing with, and you know, some people play with their gamma, etc. You're Danish and your surname is Mossberg. Is a very intentional twist. It seems like it. Well, I appreciate your Danish name. Hillbilly Mage, Cab Zero, Zappa, 1011, and Exos Stable. Thank you for the follows. Do you agree that Gamma Slider trivializes light as a mechanic? Other games where darkness is a big factor, like DayZ, manage brightness by adding visual noise. I think it currently still has the opportunity to trivialize some aspects of the darkness. I don't know where we're at with regards to locking down the range yet. I mean, if we can just get everybody to buy the same type of monitor, right? So, like, then if we could just get you guys to do that, then we could be a little bit stricter with it, and we would maintain the purity of the... Yeah, if you guys could buy the new M&M branded monitors, or maybe we should just work out a deal. Wasn't that a thing that I was on EQ when we had that whole Kingston RAM thing where we included like coupons to Kingston RAM. Anybody work at a monitor company? Should we set that up? Like that would be the one thing that we sell out on. Atomic Frog, hey, sorry, you wished me a happy holidays when you came in, or wished us a happy holidays when you came in, and then I promptly did not even respond, so I feel bad. Watch this, I'm totally going to distract you from how dark it is. Well, in that conversation, how about that? Because I'm back on the dev server, so I can do that. Milcon99, thank you for the follow. Never forget /pizza. Who could ever forget that? Or the Red Bull shield? Or no, was it the orb? Van Goozy is how I'm going to pronounce it. Laggy Boy. Also, that's how I'm going to pronounce it. Thank you guys for the follows. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. That was back. I think that's referencing the... I think that was referencing the origins of the game. Here, let me see if I can bring this up. Hit pause. Hit mute. Maybe even. Is it not Van Goozy? I like Van Goozy. Is it Van Goose? Okay, cool. I've switched accounts, so there's less risk of you guys seeing what I watch on YouTube. You don't want to see that. Look at his old stream with Nick. Van Goose. Okay. Well, I'll go with it since that's how you pronounce it, but I still think Van Goozy's pretty cool. Van Goozy sounds like an old it sounds kind of like Moto Guzzi. The Italian the old Italian motorcycle company. M&M sunglasses with 3D technology, so you have to wear them to see things at night. Maybe that would be a cheaper solution, but I still think they would still have to be dynamic to account for the different monitors. We really do have to. Oh man, you're missing the. Here. But yeah, look at the origins. Those were the Ashira ground capsules. Capsules and catacombs. Bill, you need to make sure we don't forget that name ASAP, buddy. Stupid Gringo, thank you for the follow. Schmitterini said, I knew it. You guys wanted to sell us monitors the whole time. We've been playing the long game. Everybody's been wondering what our actual scam is. That is the actual scam. We're actually just a front for a monitor company. Pills and Playas? That sounds a little too GTA. That maybe that's for a future game. Is it feisty or feisty? Said, things being dark is not a bad thing. Being so dark it's unplayable without using consumables is a bit much. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a thing where we'll continue to, like, we're going to just continue to, like, jiggle the whammy bar and see where we land on having it matter and having it look good. But then, like, honestly, just the difference in video cards. So this is the exact same monitor I had previously. I have yet to really adjust anything, but this being a new video card with the same monitor that I had, the game looks a fair bit different. Like, the contrast is much heavier. It's darker. So Vankensock, 1970. And Chubsy Wombat, thank you for the follows. Which video card do I have? What is it? Do I have a 5070 Ti? Hold on one second. I always forget all this stuff because of how much I care about it. It's very important to me, so I absolutely never remember. It is, in fact, a 5070 Ti. Nailed it. And my processor is a Ryzen 7 9700X. Do you program the game engine in the GPU? I do not program the game engine at all. I am more of the producery, designery, fake artisty type individual. I try to do everything but program because my brain doesn't work that way. Sell us a JPEG of a monitor and then don't release for 10 plus years. I could, yes. I see where you're going with that one. That is a decent strategy. And then we'll sell you monitor upgrades. Between the branded monitors and the full year only rug pull confirmed. Yes. Faith Fellowship Fund. We're stacking up all of our suspicious behavior on the tail end. Did the playtest weekend? It was a great time with the boys. How many friends did you bring in with you, Chubsy? Water transparency needs attention. Almost impossible to navigate underwater currently. I don't believe you on that one. Who said that? Tavish? I don't believe that, Tavish. 5. You brought 5 friends? I mean, this water could actually be a little more transparent. According to the artists, they did say that. But the water in general, is it? Water's supposed to be sketchy. But again, different monitor, you may be seeing something completely different. Chubsy, your 5 friends, are they people that you've just always played games with? What must it be like to have friends like that? Winoble, thank you for the follow. And so Winoble also asked, do you use sampler graphics, real pics? Do you produce your own graphics? We create everything from scratch. We're very scratch made. That video I just showed you. Let me see if I can bring it back up again. Yeah. You can see basically what we tried to do throughout the process was just always use our own stuff. Right? We always try to just make our own stuff. So even before we had, before we got wonderful people on the team, like Zukin and Pattis and Goblin, and like we got artists. For the first year, we had no artists. So, a lot of what you would see in these old videos was like crap that we had cobbled together. I did a lot of like making capsule critters and then animating them. And placeholder spell effects and all this stuff. And then the environments were like, we just made everything so that you would see that, we were, oops, see, that was a new thing. So that was after Zukin got on the team. And, oh, dude, did you see the crocodile in the background? There's that there's like a baller. green sausage. Capsule Quest was beautiful and animated perfectly. Thank you, Zukin. I do feel like there was some very good animations during those days. But anyways, the whole point of this message is to say that we tried to always just show you that we weren't like going to be... Is the music too loud for this song? We weren't going to be like a, you know, a kind of an asset flip, rug pull, whatever you guys wanted to call us at the time. It was just kind of like, we just, yeah, we wanted to show you the progress always. We just always want to show progress. And we're still doing it. And we've got to do that going into early access, right? Like that's a continued theme. We're going to have to show you that, hey, this stuff's not done, but we're going to be working on it. This other stuff, like you just asked about the basilisks. The basilisks look like crocodiles because they're crocodiles. They are a placeholder. There is a basilisk entry on our things to do list that that Zukin keeps very well organized. And so, yeah. And then over time, there's going to be stuff where we can't bullshit you. We're a volunteer-based team. We're a lot of us now, but it's still volunteers. And so there's stuff that we're going to look, you know, we'll show you on our various lists and charts and things. I've got one that we just set up for beta requirements. And we'll just be honest with you on that. We'll be like, hey, this is as good as it's going to get for now. And then, you know, come back in a couple months and we'll make it better. When talking about making things from scratch, I was looking for the perfect sword video, but I can't locate it anywhere. That's a treasure. I think it's like a short or something. I don't know. Sugar, thank you for the follow. Let me scroll up because I missed some stuff I was wanting to... So anyways, Winoble, I hope that answers your question. Was I able to get some DDR5 before the robots ate it? Yeah, I think I got like... How many? I think like 32 Google bits. I think. Again, things I care about. Let's see. Performance. How much RAM do I have? Yes, 32. So, it didn't seem that expensive over here in Europe. But Europe also, like, they're still discovering the concept of AI. So maybe that's why we have cheaper RAM over here. I've noticed this weekend you could buy the names of the signs on empty buildings in town. Is there intention to be able to set up player shops? Will you leave your guys standing there like in the original EQ Bazaar? So you don't leave your guys standing there. It's not, we don't want to kind of go straight into automating that process yet. But you can have a shop if you look here. Like I can even rent out this guy, right? So the reason why you saw names on there is because people have purchased them, right? They have them. So, and again, this is one of those things as we're working through EA, we'll add more and more functionality to the housing system so that we've got maybe like a little bit better support for the difference or differentiation between like player houses versus you setting up like a trade skill, but I guess it could be a trade skill area versus like an inn or a tavern versus a shop, that type of stuff. What's the name brand to buy nowadays for DDR5 chips? Is there a preferred brand? That is a question for chat. I don't know anything about computers, Bill. Squat said it was in Fail and Draw this time around. Did Bard Quest, very fun stuff. Lasava and Nicodemus have been knocking out those quests. They're really good. They're really good. Dark Inside, hello. What's going on, buddy? I hope everything's well with you and your work and your family. Covetous Shin said, had a great time with the playtest. Thanks for your hard work. Looking forward to the future. Hey, thank you for being here. Glad you enjoyed the playtest. Sent a long thank you to Nick, but this playtest was a throwback to the old EQ days of playing with my wife. First time I played a game, we've played a game together in well over 5 years, and it was glorious. Feisty or feisty. That's awesome to hear. The number of people talking about like playing with their significant others or family or friends or whatever. It's so cool. It's so cool to hear. That was always one of my favorite things at the fan fairs for EverQuest, was like meeting all the people that were playing with their people. Apostate HS says, I forget whether you've talked about AI in the past. Is it helping the effort move forward more quickly? No. It's not something that we use on the art side at all, unless I'm missing something. But our guys are pretty not into AI, to be honest. Just speaking as like somebody that sees it out there, I think it's awesome for people to be able to use, like, make memes, and for people that maybe aren't super skilled with stuff like art to make like cute little things to post. That's cool. Whenever we see other games that might be using it or have used it or whatever, you look at it and it's like you can just almost, there's like this uncanny valley where you just spot it and you go, hey, I bet that's AI. So like with textures and stuff, not a fan so far. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I or we are missing something on that front. In terms of like getting it to like make a quest or whatever, the best that I've seen so far in using like an LLM for that type of thing is you take all of your information. So I think it makes sense for teams to document the shit out of their lore. I mean, just generally speaking, but we're really trying to document a ton. We even brought a team member onto the team as an editor just to make sure that we can maintain our lore and other documentation as well as possible. We actually have 2 people on the team, our editor, Loki/Eric, and then Kumidar. They're both like senior technical writers professionally. And it just so happened that they both applied and we were like, hey, Kumidar, make content please. And Loki, you help us with the editing. He does a lot of like mud action implementation and stuff as well. Anyways, bringing it back around to the topic, one of the things that you can do with it, which is interesting, is maybe have it like look at all your lore. And then you can be like, give me 30 ideas for why this gnome is grumpy. And then you can kind of look at it and go, this one's okay, that one's okay, but this is how do I mix these together? And all it winds up doing, honestly, for the most part, it's a good search engine, or I say good in air quotes. It's like a decent search engine. Maybe you can be like, hey, has anybody ever named their gnomish mage Snagglepuss before? Okay. Yes, it's a reference here. All right, maybe I won't name this NPC Snagglepuss then. It's good at giving you like 50 random ideas, but even there, they start to kind of have the same thing. So it's kind of a brainstorming tool at times, similar to once, when I was on EQ, I think it was during EQ when we're like, oh, Wiki's a thing now or whatever. You can start to look some stuff up. But there's like, it's not horribly different than if you're big tabletop fans. There you can get these like cool booklets or PDFs or whatever that are just like a bunch of tables, and so you can go, you roll. I've got one somewhere around here. Oh, this is my new machine. Anyway, but you can find them, and it's like it's roll a die 100, and it gives you, whatever, like 50 different options or 20 different options of like personality traits and stuff like that. And so, yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's still it's just not there. Well, do I think companies will use it more and more? Absolutely. But then again, you're like, it'll be one of those things where, you know how you can like look at a mobile game and there becomes like this aesthetic where you look at a mobile game and it looks like 1,000 other mobile games. I think we'll just see more and more of that kind of like, I don't want to sound like condescending or weird or whatever and like call it slop, but it's like, I think we'll see a lot more of that kind of mass produced shit out there. And then it's going to come down to, I don't know. It's kind of like modern writing for TV and film, right? Like, I think there will be a lot of people that watch stuff, or there'll be people that consume the stuff and they don't care. It's fine. And then there'll be a lot of other people who are like, I just want something that's not the same regurgitated shit. So what if an AI game is accidentally really good? I don't have a problem with it. I think there's plenty of room for stuff that's not very good. You know what I mean? Like I've played mobile games that just look like every other mobile game. It's like, whatever. Sally's Garden or some shit, and match 3, and like it looks just like all the other stuff produced by whatever megacore. And it's a fun toilet game, and you're kind of like, all right, and that's that. But it's not like a thing where you sit around and you go, oh man, this is amazing, or hey, this is something that I'm just, I think is a unique experience. But yeah, so yeah, that exactly. Viper said, let's not forget there's a lot of human slop. There's a lot of human slop produced as well as AI slop. Both can be good too. Yeah, that's what I think is probably going to wind up being the thing more and more. I do wonder how you guys. I think there will be people that don't give a shit who makes their stuff. I think a significant portion of the total addressable market out there doesn't care where their content comes from or where their entertainment comes from. But I also think that there'll be a number of people that enjoy the story of the team or enjoy the people, the team members or the personalities, especially with like team streaming and things like that. So I don't know, maybe that's a selling point. Kind of like you've got your favorite bartender or barista or barber or whatever. Maybe our charm and our sex appeal will be our defining factors. In a world full of AI generated content, we will use our sex appeal and distinguished personalities to continue to lure you into our low poly throwback games. Will it work? Dark Inside said, we had a cat named Snickle Fritz. That is a cute name. He was the most adorable cat ever, so people friendly. Well, with a name like that, how could you go wrong? Doggeroni says, I feel stupid trying to say LLM in real life. My mouth doesn't work that way. Maybe that's why I'm single, though. It's taking me a minute to realize what you mean is because of the speaking part of it, not the mouth movement. I was like, I have to focus to speak. I'm not a very good talker. So I think you just got to focus. We had a guild level EQ fanfare in Colorado. 50 people from as far away as Germany, Denmark, and Australia. Much mayhem follow. Oh, that sounds like it probably was a painful experience the next morning. Water and sandstorms looked amazing. I must say the sandstorms were a bit thick. Yeah, we've got some tweaking to do on both the duration, frequency, duration, thickness. So there's some work that'll still be going on with weather. And I'm not just saying that. Oh, and then Mosio is above mentioning sandstorms as well. Yeah, absolutely. Professor Whiskers, MD. Speaking of kittens, hello, thank you for the follow. Eminem banana hammock on the merch store win. Did I ever show you? Did I ever show you the animal banana hammocks? Wolf. When I had my dog Ziggy at a previous company, one of the ladies I worked with sent me a link to these underwear. I think we talked about some custom animal underwear before, didn't we? On the shop. She said these reminded me of your dog. I was like, do I not get to contact HR? What's going on here? Plot twist. She was in HR. A Shira ruse available. Dude, a Shira one, that would be good. monstersmemories.com. I'm not clicking that. How do you envision post EA testing module 1 to where there can be at least one test server? Will those in EA automatically have access? I think, and I'm just going to say I think on this one, this is one of those things that we really will need to clarify. I think it'll wind up being a mix of like a public test realm and probably having a cadre of folks that have proven to be pretty reliable, no drama, nice to each other kind of testers, and then we'll do a bit of like public test realm and also some focused testing on things like upcoming modules, etc. So, but that's just me saying what I'm describing, a possibility. I'm not describing what I think we're actually going to do or whatever. That'll need to come from us as a team. Excuse me. No, really, Bill. I have to focus a considerable amount to try to be a coherent speaker. Distinguished personalities. There's Goblin. Hey, Goblin. Mossberg said, I'm very much against generative AI, but I'm super conservative about anything new. Your name gave it away. Pretty sure population broke 2K concurrent this time. Yeah. Ollie's little dashboard was only like doing 24 hours at a time for some reason. But we broke 2K the first night. I think it kind of tapered off after that, but we did break 2K the first night. Toop like 280. Thank you for the follow. Night Caffeine, thank you for the follow as well. I have CC numbers in the web app. I wasn't storing them over time. I should do that. Are you storing like the high, like the all-time high, or what are you storing right now, Swanee? Speaking of, let me quickly. Will you get a chance to try out the Faith system before beta? Before beta, I don't know, but for beta, yes. I just have access to those numbers since the web app manages sessions and all that stuff. Did I see Alan B? Sorry, Jasmine's. If you hear perfect sounds in the background, like that. Did you hear that? That's her stuffing somebody in the freezer. Welcome back. Was the range not busy? Dang it. I should have gone. I wanted to just kind of stick around and keep an eye on things and maybe pop in and say hi to you guys. But I should have gone. She said no one was at the range. I could have just gotten in there and just did this number. I could have done a Yosemite Sam. Pistol in each hand, sideways. But alas, I'm hanging out with you guys instead. I did not see that Absol retired. Nope. I did not see that. But he's been at it for a long time. He's a solid dude, man. Like he had no interest in doing one of the EQ interviews that I did. But I don't hold that against him because he's a pretty quiet, fairly behind the scenes guy. Always liked him. Here's what I remember about Absol. The thing that I remember the most about Absol was when he got on the team, when he first came into EverQuest. He actually, a lot of us came up through customer service. So a lot of the EQ team, when I was on it, we started in customer service and then we made our way into like the apprentice program and then became game designers on EQ. Absol came in. I forget where he came from. I think he worked on a website or something, right? Like he came in from a background that was different than ours, but he went and he volunteered like to do a couple, like he worked in customer service on his own for a couple of weeks just to kind of see what the pain points were for the players and see what the CS folks had to go through before they got on the team. And he was like one of the first people that I knew of that came into the company, and instead of like immediately like coming in and, oh, I'm on the development team now, I'm fancy or whatever, was like, hey, let me go in and do the grunt work and kind of see what the challenges are. And that was super cool. So anyways, that's my Absol story. Buin said, "G'day, Sean. I'm a younger bloke, and I bloody loved the playtest." Hey, how young are you? And I don't mean that in any kind of a weird way, sweetie Willie, who just came in as I was saying that. Thank you for the raid. That was the absolute best story I've heard today. Appreciate it. Sweetie said, hey, my brother, because we were waiting until the new year to reveal this fact. He and I are actually related. We are, in fact, brothers. Twins. Yes. If you did not know, now you know. Reveal. We were waiting to tell you until 2026. Got my hopes up. I thought I was getting my statue. Well, now that you're officially family, we can sneak it in. It's one thing to put statues of just, people that are streaming the game and stuff like that. That implies favoritism. But statues of family. You are the favorite. That is true. He is slightly older, but only by 12 minutes. Is this the M&M withdrawal support group? It is. You can find that in Discord. We are not very supportive here. I am sorry. Buin, we got to get back to you. Did you ever answer? You said, I am early 30s, but I've never played games like Request before. It makes me want to play Project 1999 or something. Yeah. So you can play EQ, you can play P99, PQ. There's stuff like that out there. Other things to try out. If you guys didn't see it, right before Christmas, Chinny D said, and to celebrate this family reveal, we happily announce our first monitor discount code. Use family for 10% off. We've got to find a monitor company. Ollie, if you're out there, we've got to find a monitor company. Silky Johnson brand monitors. My apartment's going to be full of Temu monitors with me just like sticking stickers on them and repackaging them as fast as we can. It was like I bought a fancy keyboard a couple years ago and I was so proud. I was like, oh, look at my fancy keyboard. And I showed Ollie and he laughed. He was like, he sent me a link to like Alibaba where you can get them for like $5 each. And it was basically just an Alibaba keyboard that they had repackaged. It was really nice packaging. I mean, I don't know if it was, $85 worth of packaging or whatever, but I was so disappointed. But he like spotted it immediately as soon as I showed him. He just like sent back a link. I'm like, that's why I don't care about tech. Dova, thank you for the follow. Kemp333, thank you for the follow. Ollie could probably find us one. We're going to have a company meeting tomorrow. And we're going to discuss the great monitor scam of 2026. He's got his squeaky ball. It's his most prized possession. $14-inch CRT monitors are bust. Oh my gosh. That's actually Does anybody have a connection? Does anybody have a connection with a CRT monitor company? No. No? Okay, bite me instead? Okay, cool. Will there be a box version of the game to purchase that comes with the bean character model wearing a banana hammock? In all seriousness, if we're able to do well enough to sustain ourselves and continue to move the project forward from early access into 1.0, our kind of like our big pie in the sky thing, instead of like buying stretch Lamborghinis with jacuzzis in them and stuff like that, it would be really cool if we could afford to get boxes, M&M game boxes manufactured with cloth maps and like little talismans or something, and like that type of stuff. So that's kind of like our long-term stretch goal, is like, hey, could we do well enough as a game and a company to be able to do some merch like that, right? Because you got to front that stuff, right? You actually have to pay someone to manufacture those in advance. And so everything currently, if you're not familiar with the project, we're a volunteer-based team that we're fronting all the costs for everything out of pocket. Fortunately, our costs aren't huge, and yeah, like this year, I think I'd have to go back through. Atomic Frog will know in more detail. But Atomic Frog is our accountant. But I think we spent like 30 grand this year, so. All right, buddy. You gotta either turn or hop down. Haha. There's Nortec and VDC, Video Display Corporation, but as I said, they mostly do government industrial contracts of 100 plus units. Well, if we make it the only way to play the game. Will we have a PvP server for beta? For the open testing, I can't imagine why we wouldn't. As far as like closed testing, PvP server for closed testing, I think we wouldn't have enough people. So anyways, going all the way back to the question. Or was it me just making comment? Anyways, to the question of like what to play that's kind of our style. In the meantime, I was going to mention I just had a nice discussion with the guys from Embers Adrift. And if you didn't see that, I don't think I've uploaded the VOD yet, actually. I need to upload the VOD. I think I didn't upload it immediately because I went out of town like the next day. But I need to upload it. And yeah, the Embers Adrift guys are fantastic. Honestly, really love those guys. They have a really cool story in terms of like them trying to, like work through different challenges over the years and all that stuff. It's a cool game. If I had more time, I would definitely be playing it as well, right? And I think it's worth it's worth you guys checking out. I'm going to continue to push that while we're working towards early access. because they're continuing to work on stuff. So, hey, thanks, Bill. Interview with the AOA guys would be cool too. Talk about similar challenges. It's funny. So we've talked to Hidden Tree a fair amount behind the scenes, and I think I've talked to Hidden Tree once or twice at least once or twice in voice over the years. But yeah, I don't know if he would ever do that type of, that style of interview or whatever. So instead we do the play test, and we stream the play test from time to time and send people over there for sure. So WJBX85 said, I was recently thinking about the EverQuest Legends Stormhammer experiment from a developer GM perspective. What was it like trying to deliver on that daily live event promise? In hindsight, do you feel the tools and staffing were actually there to make it work, or was it vision too ambitious for the tech at the time? What I remember of it was that it, much like many of the things that we tried at SOE, it was a cool idea. It just, if I remember correctly, it wasn't properly supported. And it was one of those things where, like, it is one of those things where if the company had coordinated with the team better, it would have been maybe better supported. But a lot of stuff just kind of got thrown at the team, and we're like, what's this shit? Because we're always crunching, we are always burned out, we're always having, like, during that era, we were delivering 2 expansions a year. And so it was kind of like, yeah, it just, now thinking about that, like, from our end, we would, we want to, again, one of those stretch goals for us is, can we be successful enough that we have the capability of really supporting live events? And, a lot of what we've been doing with tooling on the GM side and trying to make it possible for our GMs to quickly resolve CS issues. Let me bring those stats up in a minute, actually. Let me see if I can get in there. But, like, we want to be able to provide, like, a more dynamic experience over time. Even way back in the day, I've always thought that there's a solid opportunity for a game that's doing well enough to essentially pay actors, right? Like, have an events team that is fully supported and better integrated in terms of tooling and all that stuff, and make for a more interesting, dynamic world. It's stuff that we're already discussing with, and have been discussing with GM Trent and stuff. So, and Swanee. Let me dig up some stats real quick in our wonderful tooling. Let's go back up. Is the server network provider you're currently using going to be the same one when you go live, or are there higher tier network infrastructure you'll be using? I was getting 300, 500 millisecond pings. Check with Pantheon, my pings are about 100 milliseconds to an east server and 70 to west. We're currently basing everything out of the same data center in the Netherlands still, I believe. For this test, I didn't even ask, but I assume that's the case. So, and then as we go into early access, we'll be going with more localized data centers, or at least a U.S. East Coast instead of Netherlands. But well, we can put out more information if it's like a big question for some of you. We can make sure that we get you the actual information. Let's see. Guys that were digging up Embers, could you do me a favor if you've got like a link to Embers Adrift on Steam or wherever? Could you pop it in the chat so people can just see it and click it? I'll have to make like I'll have to set up my bot on the new machine better so that I've got all that. Let me look at our, speaking of CS, let me look at this playtest. This playtest went from the 27th to the 29th. There we go. Yeah, like I said, I played, the last time I played Embers, full disclosure, is a couple years ago, I think, at this point, because time has flown by, and hopped in. I had an enjoyable time, and they've continued to improve it since then. So I do think that if you're looking around and wanting to play something in the meantime when you're waiting for the next test or whatever, you really, really should check it out. And again, I say that both based on the game, but also based on the idea of supporting the team, because they're cool guys, and the community seems nice. Are there plans for a shared bank slot? Yeah, we'll have a couple shared bank slots, and potentially the ability to upgrade to get a couple more slots, but you've got to pay for it or whatever. So. Dreaming Escape 86 said started Embers last week. Pretty decent. Nice. Getting rid of the gray. Hello. Read an AMA from someone who was paid to RP in an MMO. Sounded crazy to do it one-to-one, but it sounds like exactly the sort of thing that would make an MMO feel like World of Done right, essentially paid GM events. I mean, it's something that it's a concept that's been around in like cyberpunk books and stuff like that forever. I think it's totally doable. I think it makes sense. Any talks on putting a tool slot in your inventory to keep one gathering tool equipped? Before we just like break down and do a simple slot thing or whatever, we've talked about having like different maybe bags that you could get that provide like a slot and some other stuff, but it hasn't been like a crazy high priority for us. Where are the majority of the player base from? Venkenstock 1970. According to our data, the vast majority of our players are North American. Let's see. Gunnar the Gray said, I've got some Twitch VODs on the recent raid and Embers if you want to check it out. You should link them. Feel free to link them here. And you can link them in the community content in Discord as well. If you want. What was the goal of the most recent playtest beyond giving some of its addicts a little hit to keep you hooked? Rapala Brown says. The main the main goal is just to like try to give you guys a little bit of a thank you before the end of the year, to be honest. We weren't sitting there. We've got so much already like stacked up on our plates with regards to beta, getting ready for beta, etc. I love the dashboard someone was streaming. Really cool info, like the use of Grafana and the data you collected. That was Ali. Ali tends to put up a Grafana dashboard on his stream during tests. So our if you want to link it here, Genra, or if you're in our Discord, you can also put it in the community content channel. So. If I click this, what happens? It's muted. Okay. Cool stuff. Bunch of you getting together to kill the giant sea life. That thing looks terrifying. I think Embers is really pretty. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't want to spoil all the bosses for you guys, but the when it starts to get dark. Like I said, I had a really good time running around and playing and stuff. You guys should definitely check it out. $10, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. Even got Pizjin. That's you? Nice reference. Duty, thank you for the follow. No Parole, thank you for the follow. Carp said, CPU fan shit the bed on me Saturday night. Taking care of it tomorrow, hopefully. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That stuff's never fun. Technize, I think. Thank you for the follow. Oh, I was wanting to tell you some stats. I think I pulled the right data, so it looks like if I pulled the right data, it looks like we had 311 petitions over the course of the playtest, with an average time to grab them at 13 minutes, average time to resolve them at 6 minutes. Excuse me, going back to our live event discussion and stuff, and I think that sounds about right, with the vast majority of them this time being characters being stuck. And we also had some missing vanished items. Often when I get like a missing or vanished item petition, what it is it's in your bank. It really is. It's in your bank. It's in that bag that, or in that container you don't think it is, but it's in there, in your bank. Yeah, and honestly, I think the average response time on the GM issues or on the petitions would be even lower. But I know, like during the day, my time and stuff, for at least part of that, you know, a couple of them sat in there a little bit longer. But Rapala said, I sent a missing item petition because my mithril sword was gone. GM explained it quickly. Right on. You have GM Trent and another GM, right? As well as Nick, etc. Yeah, so people pulling petitions. We got GM Trent, GM Tam. Swanee is always up there in numbers. Ollie was pulling a bunch this time around. I grabbed some. John N. S. grabbed some. Bill and Nick grabbed a few. Somebody whose email address is in here, but I don't actually know who it belongs to. So, yeah. But according to this data, and maybe I'm pulling the wrong range, but GM Trent answered 101 petitions, and GM Tam answered 69. Ardiz 81, thank you for the follow. I knew I could count on you guys. 67 is greater than 69. It's true. It's a new generation. Evil Penguin Lord said, I fell in love with the game over the playtest. Can't wait for early access. Right on. Oh, let me check another. Was that your first time playing ever? Let me check another set of stats. Playtest stats. Must be nice to be able to play on tools having experience from other games. It is. It is. It's been helpful. How are you in game? The servers are shut down now. Well, this is no game. This is work. Yes. Google says Modern EQ has 90,000 players. If they can swing it, you can do it too. I mean, we'll just see. Like, we've always tried to be very humble with regards to our target, right? In terms of, you know, what our expectations are. We try to, somebody had asked this question earlier and I missed it responding to it. But yeah, maybe it was you, Cowboy. Said, hey, what happens if you guys get 10x or even worse, 100x the number of players on day one? I mean, it's something we discuss just because we have to, not because we're trying to be hubristic or something. Nidus TV, thank you for the follow. We discuss those scenarios. It's possible that if we were to see like an outlandish amount of growth and there was no indication of it leading up to, like, we're hoping to get a better indication of like the actual interest as we get closer to early access, and then do some things to kind of help us plan with that in mind. If we saw like just an outrageous amount of interest, then we may, I don't know, we may have to cap it. We may just have to tell people to, that didn't Final Fantasy 14 have to do that at some point? right? I mean, very different scale, but I don't know. So we'll look at it. Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, we can spin up servers. We can handle the scale. The things that we want to really talk about and keep an eye on is our ability to scale support to us, like we were just talking about with the customer service numbers that we were just talking about. For us, it's very important that we maintain a solid level of support. We take the service part of it very seriously. So did the music just change to? Okay, cool. Make sure that I'm shuffling and or looping. So I'll be honest with you. The hope is that we start pretty chill and scale over time. But we've got a plan for a variety of scenarios. Like, are there plans to have some kind of founders pack or something? No. We've always just stated that for us, we just want people to be able, like, come in, pay your $15 a month, and that's that. If you want to support us beforehand, just let people know that you've had a good time on the playtest, that they should check out the game, and last thing we want is support to come out of some call center. Yeah, no, us neither. So we've interviewed a number of GMs in the past. We've got some nice CVs lined up. When we first posted the GM role, I think within a week we had like 30 applications, and then we had some phone interviews with the top 10 of those. And we've got a pretty solid list of GMs. We'll be dusting that off again before early access starts. Jinkeezy, thanks for the follow. Same Evil Penguin Lord and Cusherton, thanks for the follows. Yeah, we're much better off if we start to really get traction with Module 1. So when Module 1 comes out, we'll have 2 additional starting areas. So we'll have the Underdocks, and then we'll also have the Deep Elf City. You think you'd be too busy being a hardcore player to even consider GMing? Yeah, you've got to. That's one of those things. We've got to keep an eye out. We want to make sure that our GMs are knowledgeable about the game and passionate, but also, very objective. What's my take on like higher level players camping lower level stuff? We'll keep an eye on it as we go. One of the things is in a playtest, it's one thing, but with your forever characters, we think a number of those higher level players are going to be wanting to continue to grind up through higher level content, and there's a fair amount of it there. There's always going to be that opportunity for them to come back and try to monopolize certain content. We'll keep an eye on, and see how disruptive, if at all, that is at different points. Is delaying EA to launch it with M1 included a consideration? It is not a consideration at the moment. Hey, Shern says, I've got a lot of infrastructure experience. Is there anywhere where I can submit a resume if I want to help? You know, it never hurts to ping Ollie, be a member of our Discord, be kind of a known quantity, so we kind of know what your personality's like and stuff like that. And then you know, just shoot it over to Ollie, and he'll let you know if we run into a situation where we have a need. Pitched one. Is that how you say your name? It never, you know, self-awareness is not a bad thing. Justin Beard, we're happy to have you in, even if it's just for an hour. Look at that little extra polish. Good job. Was that you, Bill? I really like the gray wizard hat. The Sava did it? Right on. I have to go back into Night Harbor and polish up some of the stuff that I put in back in the day. How have you achieved the draw distance in this game? I see very little to no pop ever, and I can see players light sources from miles away. It's awesome. When people ask why our simpler graphic style is still pretty demanding on a machine, that's a big part of it, right? Like when people I think it's easy to underestimate that, right? So we've exchanged like incredibly high graphic fidelity in certain areas for extremely huge draw distances in an engine that's maybe not typically doing that, right? The fact that we're rendering all the way across the zone and an MMO environment. Some people are asking, hey, based on like the old school style of the graphics, why is my machine sort of chugging in Night Harbor with 600 people in the zone? And so it's a fair question. I'm not like mocking someone for asking this question. But I find it is like one of those things where it's like I would hope that if people fully understand, no, I'll kill this storm in a second. If people fully understand kind of what's going on, that they can kind of appreciate the hit. And I know for some people it's just kind of like low hanging fruit to kind of be like, you know, like, oh, game looks old or whatever it is. You know, we see those every once in a while in various like chats and stuff, and that's fine. That's cool. Makes sense. So weather. Okay, let me fly. But essentially what we have is we've got these situations where, you know, when you're and you don't even have to be somewhere crazy, right? So like say you can get up here, right? So if you're here, time set 7 a.m. fly off. Or if you're at one of the gates, right? Like you're rendering. Yeah, we've got different occlusion working, things like that, but you're rendering these pretty massive draw distances depending on where you're at. You're rendering hundreds of players. Again, in here on Rel during the first day of the playtest, I think we had 600 players in here. Right, so that's a lot. We have 600 player characters. We've also got like a shitload of NPCs. So, I mean, it's so funny. I was trying to get a feel for like what do different population levels feel like? And like 300-400 players running around in here. It's just populated enough to make it feel a little lived in and busy, and that's pretty dope. How many people were online peak during the test? Just over 2,000 across the 3 servers. Dawkins, Cthulian, Hercules, Think Tank, thank you for the follows. Dude, it feels so empty without you guys in here, actually. It always feels lonely after a playtest. I believe the just over 2,000 mark was a new high for us. It's funny, we were barely even tracking it. Bowl Cut Pat, thanks for the follow as well. Honestly, seriously, guys, when we if you haven't seen it, when we announced like the fact that we need more time to get into beta and then get into EA, I don't know if you guys read that update. Like it may seem like a long time for you guys, but it's gonna fly by so fast for us. We've got so much stuff to get done. If you haven't checked it out yet, here I'll link it in here. We'll have more playtests as we're working towards early access. Don't you worry. Hey, Zach. But essentially, it's just hitting, just hitting these dates that we've put up here. It's going to be a lot for us. So we're going to try to keep you as up to date as possible with stuff like this, and like let you know our decisions. Like if we've got something in here and we go, hey, actually we're going to push this into early access, or hey, we're gonna take a system like maybe devotion/religion and trim it down to be a smaller system for early access. Here are the rest of the pieces that we're going to release over time. Like we'll do things like that to try to basically, yeah, it's a public Trello, and we'll try to keep you as up to date on the stuff that we're doing to get us into early access, first beta, and then early access as possible. So. Again, here is this one, the thing I'm looking at here. I gotta get this finished up soon. Is there. Nether Terror, thank you for the follow. Yeah, in the meantime, you guys play some Members Drift. If you haven't checked out Pantheon, check that out. Whenever AOA is doing a play test, hop into there. All right, you got options. Play some classic WoW. KC, thank you for the follow. Nice gaming, you too. Cathanius, Appreciate it. Dadzo, thanks for the follow. P99, yeah, P99, EverQuest Live, EQ2, Lord of the Rings Online. I mean, there's stuff out there to play, guys. You know, just think of us. Yep, PQ, play some Project Quorum. So, there was something I was looking up. Darnus Art and Thadzo, if I didn't say it already, thank you for the follows. What was that? I was just looking some shit up. Excuse my French. Hey, play some Tarkov, that's true. I want to look up... Oh, and I already did. So let me reduce the servers down, reduce staging. Let me go to 27th to 29th. Apply... Nope, wrong month. Apply filters, incorrect. 12. Apply filters. And I hope everybody had a good Christmas. I didn't mention it. I mentioned it initially, early on, but I hope you had a nice Christmas. Those of you that celebrate, I hope you're excited for the new year. It's going to be a crazy one for us. Nice Gaming said hello. Hoping to check this out soon. Oh, so you just heard about us. That's cool. You just missed the playtest. Sorry. Oh, while I'm waiting for this data to load. Also want to give a really nice thank you to all the people that streamed the game over this last playtest. It's been really, really cool to see all the different streams running. AOA is Andrelon. I pronounce it wrong every time, but so I say AOA. Andrelon Online Adventures. Here's a link to it right there. Previously known as the artist formerly known as Evercraft. It looks like, if these numbers are accurate, let me just refresh and we'll see. Yeah, there's some commonalities between the various games I've mentioned, right? Like if you look at Pantheon or Embers or Us or AOA, but then they're very each game's very different in its own way, right? P99. And so it's kind of cool to see the differences. There are a lot of folks, people in our Discord that are really kind of fixated on certain quality of life or certain, things that are either polish or they consider polish or a lot of that. If you check out AOA, I think you'll find that some of the stuff that we don't want to do or haven't done yet or whatever, they do, and it makes for a different experience, and you may like that one better. And oh, thanks, Swanee. And other stuff, other stuff we've got in common. So whenever we're like, hey, maybe you want to try this other game out, it's not like, people have in the past taken that we're trying to be dicks or something, or being smart asses. We're not. We're like, hey, it sounds like it, if you come to an old-fashioned still smoking at the counter steakhouse, and you're looking for some fusion tacos, then we'll be like, hey, there's a fusion taco place over there. We know the owner. The fusion tacos are great. The Korean tacos are fantastic over there. There's no smoking in there. in here, we're smoking while we cook, and we're making a steak. So it's no hard feelings if you want to go get to fusion tacos or the kale brisket or whatever you're into. So over this playtest, we had 6,375 unique players. Yep, that matches what I'm seeing now on my end as well. Average playtime is 6.5 hours. We had 3,536 unique people play on Rel. We had 2,735 unique people play on Crivia. Unique accounts. I mean, there's probably a few boxes running. And 435 people on Herodrill, the PvP server. We had 173 people play between 25 and 50 hours during this playtest. We had 756 people play for 15 to 25 hours this playtest. Kinyo the King, or actually I guess it's just Kinyo the King, thank you for the follow. What is the highest level hardcore character? Do we have it on this list? The most unique players we had in a day. We had 5,286 unique players. Better Half Gaming, thank you for the follow as well. We had an average daily user amount of 4,589. So will there ever be rewards for getting to max on hardcore like a title or something? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that we've discussed that. Would it be possible to get a trade skill forum feedback section in Discord server? Spent the majority of my time trade skilling. Would love to provide feedback. Ping Nick. Nick is the Discord master. Ping Nick on Discord and ask him. Are you aware of how your playtest success in November has pushed the genre forward? Pantheon got 15 million additional funding announced during it. AOC announced Steam access shortly after it. EQTLP. I think you're attributing a lot to us. We appreciate it though. We are but a humble team of misfits. A humble team of misfits who say poopy words on stream. Reginald Hornblower said, I had a lot of fun. Finally hit 50 in herbalism. Made my first 2 Sal potions. Ran the length of the aqueduct. Fell down a well and died. Congrats. Met someone at the Shaded Bloom a day later who thought they had lost their corpse in a well. So I was able to lead them to it, wandered around Wormsbane, discovered some lore, a secret door, a tomb key I don't know yet what to do with, fell off Keeper's Bite lift again and reported some bugs. Fun times. It sounds like you had quite a well-rounded adventure. Really enjoyed the addition of Mud feature in the game. It's a fun addition. I'm hoping we just leverage the heck out of it over time. Perhaps you were once misfits. Now you are the architects of a grand new adventure for a generation who has yearned for one for a long time. I really hope that warrants us getting some 80s space outfits with big cod pieces for our team photo. I want to dress up like Space Bowie. Bowie's in space. Yeah, so that would be awesome. Any chance of Deep Gnomes getting a tank plate class? They're the only race without one. I'm curious if it was lore intentional. Also, what's the lore behind Shaman and Beast Master class availability? Love that they're there. So I mean, and this is one of those things, it's super tough behind the scenes, the whole like justification for different things and well-roundedness and stuff, and we'll probably have a little bit more discussion before it's all said and done with some of the options. But still, when you look at the Deep Gnomes, they're so like they're so cerebral and squishy and not necessarily the boldest physically, but you know, like they are very in tune with the universe and with the nature of the deep and with the way that the nature in their region of the deep isn't, you know, basically connected to like the greater universal consciousness. And they're just, you know, like the website says, you know, the description, if gnomes are the astronauts, they're the psychonauts, right? So yeah, so the sort of standard D&D deep gnomes and standard D&D deep dwarves are interesting. Definitely not what we were shooting for with either of those. That said, I do think it would be neat to have more like dwarf customization options later down the road that have more of that like classic dwarves in the deep kind of feel to them. Somebody asked for me to scroll down to some other stats. Playtime by class. Playtime by class. Are we going to get a legally distinct Balrog in the deep? I think it's feasible. We're trying to pay homage to as many different legally distinct things as possible. That way they all have to come after us. Our dear lawyer Baloo will keep his hands busy. Keep his eyes busy? What the fuck? I laughed out loud when I saw the gelatinous cube. That's one of the last of our old school models. It's placeholder. But yeah. So, anyway, it's rolling up on PvP kills. XP, hold on one second. I'll see if I can do that for you. Let's go. PvP kills. Checks out. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. We appreciate all the kind words. We have a lot of fun and get super jazzed every time we do a playtest. It just feels normal to see everybody running around in the city. We're excited about the days when you guys are in for good. We hope that once you get in during early access that you retain that you really are, you stay jazzed. While I'm in here, let me test something really quick that I had changed earlier. We hope that you stick around for months, right? The hope is that we're able to continue to build out this game world of ours, and that we're around for years to come. So what's up? How you doing, Quados? Shout out to GM Tam. They interacted really well with everyone in the world. Super responsive, patient during petitions. We appreciate that. All right, so this is not working as intended, I don't think. I'll have to fix that later. So we really do appreciate everybody for being here. All right, this part works. It's just the reset didn't seem to work very well. It's always fun to see you guys having fun on stream. It's always fun to just run around the city and see people running around and get you guys waving and being appreciative and all that stuff. We couldn't ask for anything more. Thanks, Quados. And everybody that got in there. Like I said, we'll continue to have tests over the next bit as we're working towards beta, and then from beta to EA. You were just asking about beta and getting into beta and stuff. Here, let me check out this update if you haven't checked out the update. We've got a new system. We've got the opt-in system. It's part of the update. Here, let me click it. So we have a new system so that you can opt in. You'll find it here, in the community area. Right on the website, go in there. Hey, what's up, Lich? The opt-in system then allows us to run lotteries so that it's fair. It's an opportunity. If we do it once a week, once every 2 weeks, whatever, we'll figure out the timing. We'll let you know how many people are coming in at once. Swanee's also set it up so that if you win a lottery, you can also have a friend code. So one or more friend codes will let you know how many are going out each time, and so then you can copy that, you can give it to them, and then so that way your significant other, or your family member, or your extra box or whatever can make it in. And so, do you get a friend code if you don't win the lottery? Well, I mean, if you're in testing, then it might be something that we can, you know, provide, or it is something that we can provide on your account. So, Quato said it was good to see Kung get in there and have access to different large communities to share this game with. Yeah, and he's so, man, he's just so, he just seems so genuinely excited, and like he does a really great job as well of like conveying the feel of the game and what makes it different and stuff. So I mean, we're very fortunate to have all of you guys streaming and making content and stuff. You do a wonderful job. Couldn't ask for a cooler crew of people. Covetous, is that Spherical? RT Department, Janny64, Yorick, Better Half Gaming. Thank you guys for the follows. Delta and Peon are looking at playing in the next playtest. Hey, Broken Stoic! I saw you in a clip that Nick pulled earlier. Thanks for getting the word out. I could have sworn I saw you in Force Gaming's stream. Stoic. So we really appreciate all, like, when you guys have asked in the past, like, hey, what can we do to support you? It's like, just keep being cool and getting the word out to people, and it's you know, it really helps. So he, you know, Force is one of those guys that's like just always been kind of curious to see if our story would interest him, you know, like a lot of the people that really keep up on the state of like the industry and games and stuff. We know that at some point we can't use it as an excuse anymore or whatever, but we do think that this idea of, hey, we just kind of made the game that we wanted to make, and we did it with our own cash and with passionate people volunteering and all that stuff. We hope that it accounts for something with some of the folks out there that like do content creation and have been talking about like rug pulls and vaporware and all this other stuff for years. So we know it's not going to be everybody's jam, but that's what can we do. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the stream. I don't know, is anybody from the team streaming? Is anybody streaming? Should I raid? Your wife really enjoyed the game? That's nice to hear. Yeah, Zook, and if you want to fire it up, I'll pass it over to Zook, and you can see some actual work getting done. And you'll be able to see some nice character work, some Eminem character work, and you'll be able to ask Zukin some Eminem questions. Robert, good night, my buddy, and thank you for helping me get my audio fixed. You're hearing Robert's wonderful music in stereo tonight, because Robert took the time to help me fix my setup. Ewan said, thanks for recommending Project Quorum. Having fun with it. Just started right on. Yeah, like I said, you guys check out those other games. There's no reason not to check out all these other games. In terms of costs, $10 for Embers, totally worth it. General Gray's got. How do I do like a little shout out? I don't know. Like I don't know any of this Twitch shit, to be honest with you. Is there like a? I don't know. Go check out. Genera's in here. Is it shout out? Really? Is that how it works, or is that someone? And then. Oh, it is. You guys know. You guys be knowing. Did that work? Did I do it? Okay, cool. So yeah, check out some members stuff. Check out P99. Check out Pantheon. Check out AOA. Like, get into all those communities when there's opportunities to play. And then hopefully, you know, you never know. You may play one of those and you'll be like, it's your new forever home. And well, as long as you're happy. If we love you, we have to let you go, according to the song. But hopefully you come back and then play when we hit EA at least. Check out Meridian 59. There you go. Gregington. It's out there. It is out there. You can. It's true. You can check out Meridian 59. Why not? Oh yeah. So before you're going to start on your Eminem erotica fan fiction. Perfect. That's wonderful. Kiss for Kink. That checks out. Name checks out. There is an EQOA emulator out there. There's a Vanguard emulator out there. And you guys feel free on our Discord to share like links to all these different emulators and stuff. I wanted to say I doubt I'll be streaming on Wednesday, so I wish everybody an extremely fun, extremely pleasant, you know, have a very joyful, safe New Year's Eve and a nice New Year's Day. Nobody lose any fingers, right? It's not fun. So be careful with your fireworks. Be careful with yourself. Be careful with your bodies. Where maybe reflect on this last year. Got a lot of reflecting to do, a lot of appreciation. Very excited about 2026. You guys asking for giveaway next stream. I gotta ask the guys how to even run it. I don't even know how to run it. Like, I'm just not that dude. So I'll get better at like knowing how to run the giveaway. But I'm bad at that. Quake of Girth, thank you for the follow. Spearhawk, thank you for the follow. Covetous, thank you as well. It's gonna be a badass 2026. Have a wonderful New Year's Eve. We're gonna raid Zukin. Buin, thank you for being here. Figs Heels. Papa Azaleel. MMO Dad. Hey. If you're young enough or not, I'm used to working with the young folks. The nice ladies at my last company called me daddy, and I always found a lot of joy in that title. And so I will gladly be your daddy as well. Let's raid Zukin on that note. And we will see you in Zukin's channel. And then we will see you in 2026. So let's get ready to raid Zukin. Why is Zukin just not at the top of my shit every time? Zukin. It should be easier to find him. There we go. There's my buddy. There's my boy. Start raid. All right. I think we're over the drop zone now. We're over the drop zone. See you guys in 2026. Thank you for being here. You're wonderful. And we're going to raid him now.